Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to November 12th, 1993, Denver, Colorado. This is UFC 1, the beginning. No modern weight classes. No standard gloves, no polished sport. Just 8 men walking into the octagon to answer one dangerous question: which fighting style really works when the talking stops? And by golly, the answer did not arrive quietly. UFC 1 felt like somebody took boxing, kickboxing, sumo, shoot fighting, savate, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, threw them into a steel cage, shut the door, and told the world to watch closely. The opening shock comes fast. Gerard Gordeau, the Dutch savate striker, faces Teila Tuli, the massive sumo wrestler. The size difference looks like a movie poster, but the fight is over almost immediately. Gordeau lands the kick, Tuli goes down, and the audience realizes this is not a martial arts demo.
Pretty nervous, Bo, when there was somebody that large.
Well, yeah, but also somebody that good with his feet and good with his hands.
That first finish sets the temperature for the whole night. The crowd came in curious. Now they are leaning forward. If a giant sumo wrestler can get taken out that quickly, nobody in the bracket is safe. That is the first UFC lesson. Reputation means nothing when the cage door closes. Then Kevin Rosier and Zane Frazier give the crowd a different kind of chaos. This is not clean, modern MMA. This is 2 big men trading punishment until one of them breaks. It is messy, exhausting, and ugly, but it proves early UFC was built to find out who could survive. Now the whole event changes. Royce Gracie walks in wearing the gi, calm as a tax audit, and across from him is Jimmerson, the boxer with one glove. That visual alone is UFC 1 in a nutshell. One man thinks he is in a punching contest. The other man is about to take him somewhere else.
Just gives Royce an anchor with which to move his opponent around. But watch Royce, though. I think you're going to see the clinch is...
Royce does not need flash. He closes distance, gets the fight down, climbs into control, and Jimmerson taps without ever landing the kind of boxing shot he cleaves, checking to throw. This little Brazilian in the gi is not there to trade. He is there to remove your weapons one by one. Then Ken Shamrock steps in against Patrick Smith, and now we get another warning from the grappling world. Smith is the local kickboxing threat. Shamrock is the shoot fighter with the stare, the muscles, and the submission game. Smith wants distance. Shamrock wants contact. That is the whole fight.
They haven't warmed up very much.
The shoot fighter is very familiar with the ground contact. And ground.
Smith throws the kick. Shamrock ducks under, and boom, the fight is on the mat. Shamrock pressures, mounts, makes Smith defend, then attacks the leg. The heel hook comes fast. Smith taps at 149, and the crowd gets a second lesson. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is dangerous, but it is not the only ground threat in this building. By this point, UFC 1 is not just a tournament. It is a live autopsy of one-dimensional fighting. Strikers are learning that range can disappear. Big men are learning that size can turn into a trap. And everybody watching at home is learning that the ground is not a resting place. It is a battlefield. The semifinals raise the stakes. Gerard Gordeau returns against Kevin Rosier, and this is where the striker lane starts to clear. Gordeau is hurt, damaged, is still dangerous. Rosier is tough, but Gordeau keeps finding the cleaner weapons. He survives the brawl, advances to the final, and waits for Royce. On the other side, Royce Gracie meets Ken Shamrock. Now, this is the one. The grappler who just heel-hooked Patrick Smith is standing across from the jiu-jitsu specialist who embarrassed Jimmerson. This is not just fighter versus fighter. This is submission system versus submission system.
Is it Eddie Coker? Right for the takedown.
Big judge right away.
Royce is up.
And then Royce makes it look almost unfair. Shamrock engages, Royce pulls him into the trap, climbs to the back, and finishes the choke in 57 seconds. Ken Shamrock one of the scariest men on the field, is out of the tournament. Royce just moves on like a man checking another name off a list. That 57-second finish is the moment UFC 1 starts to belong to Royce Gracie. Shamrock looked like a future star. And he was, but Royce exposed the difference between knowing submissions and living inside a complete jiu-jitsu system. By golly, that is not hype. That is the tape talking. Now we get the final. Royce Gracie versus Gerard Gordeau. On paper, it is the cleanest style versus style ending you could ask for. The dangerous striker who wrecked the opener against the calm grappler who has been solving everybody. One man wants space. One man wants a body lock. Who gets there first?
You wouldn't think so, but it is.
Bill, I think you'd probably know more about this than anybody else.
Don't watch it. Save me.
Royce gets there. He closes the distance, drags Gordeau into the grappling game, climbs into control, and finishes with the choke. The first UFC tournament is over, and the smallest looking man in the bracket just ran through 3 completely different problems in one. Fake crawl, boxer, shoot fighter, striker, all submitted. That is why UFC 1 still hits. It is not just old footage. It is a sport being born in real time. You can see the audience learning. You can see fighters realizing that the old arguments were incomplete. It was not enough to be a boxer, a kickboxer, or just big and tough. Give credit to the whole card. Gordeau brought violence. Rosier brought toughness. Shamrock brought the first glimpse of the hybrid submission fighter. Patrick Smith, Art Jimmerson, Zane Frazier, and Teila Tuli all became part of the lesson. But Royce Gracie was the man who walked out with the answer. And the answer changed everything. After UFC 1, every serious fighter had to think differently. If you could not defend a takedown, you had a problem. If you did not understand the guard, you had a problem. If your whole style only worked at one range, you had a problem. That is the birth of modern MMA. Drop a comment. What was the craziest UFC 1 moment? Gordeau and Tuli, Shamrock's heel hook, or Royce choking out the whole bracket? Smash like, subscribe, and hit the bell because the Early Days series is bringing every wild old school UFC night back to life. This has been the UFC 1 journey. Boom, what a beginning.